You're listening to Sensitive, Spiritual, and Successful, the podcast where we uncover ways to connect you back to your soul self and get you unstuck to find your flow again in life so that you can live out your full potential. I'm Jasmine Lynn, a former psychotherapist turned human design soul guide and EFT tapping success coach, and I'm here to show you how to love yourself through all your levels of growth. I know you're here because you have an impact you want to make in this world and you have a light to share, and I'm here to guide you through that journey because you deserve soul-aligned success. So today we are going to break down profile line combinations just so you can kind of understand them a little better as they relate to your life or maybe the lives of your clients, just what they may be going through or what you may be going through as you live out your purpose. So there are 12 profile line combinations. We are going to go over 6 today. And these 6 are more of a personal destiny theme. And I'll get more into what that means. So there are 6 profile lines and they are based on the Chinese I Ching. You'll notice that with human design, there's not a lot of new information. It's actually a synthesis of traditional wisdom and systems that have been used for years and years, which is really, really cool. So yes, I'm going to go over the combinations that are personal destiny theme. They are 1 3s, 1 4s, 2 4s, 2 5s, 3 5s, and 3 6s. So you'll notice that the first number of your profile line, which is the conscious number, is either 1, 2, or 3. So totally worth noting here that with the personal destiny theme, these combinations are on their own journey and they are the people who are creating the karma in the world. Whereas the upper trigram or the other profile lines that I'll go through in the next episode are people who are cleaning up the karma of the world and they are more transpersonal. So you'll notice that you are a personal destiny theme when you have your incarnation cross. It says right angle cross of planning or right angle cross of whatever it may be. There's over 100 different incarnation crosses. So you are a right angle cross and you have a personal destiny theme with one of these profile lines. So they are people who are a little more self-absorbed in their process and they are here to be focused on their journey. It's not good or bad. It's just their journey. That's what in this lifetime, that's what their role is. And they are really meant to go inward. And that's the main work of these profile lines, is to work on themselves. They are not here to be, distracted by someone else's process. People who come across these profile line combinations may, they may have a good time. They may have a great experience, but it doesn't really alter their movement through life. They're really here to just experience, explore, gain perspectives, and they are, like I said, the creators of karma on the planet. So they need to figure out who they are. I was reading a little more about this in Ra's words. So in terms of relationships, it's important that these profile line combinations are doing the inner work and figuring themselves out, because the more that they do this, they are better able to meet people, meet the other person that they are in relationship with. So it's almost like the more that they get to know themselves, the more that they get to know other people. And that is just how that works. So I was listening to, here's a funny story. I was listening to Big Girls Don't Cry by Fergie. It came on once and my daughter is now obsessed with it. So she listens to it all the time. And as I was listening to the lyrics, I'm like, oh, this is totally this is definitely a right angle cross, or also a hint of third line with the theme of bonds made to be broken, which I'll get into in another episode. But in the words that she sings, you can hear her say, and I won't sing it just to save you your ears, but she sings, I hope you know that this has nothing to do with you. It's personal. Myself and I, we have some straightening out to do. And I'm like, oh yeah, that is That like gives off personal destiny vibes. Anyway, I don't know if Fergie wrote the song. I didn't look that up, but I looked up her chart and she is a 3-5. And then as I was also reflecting on the lyrics, I can definitely say as a 3-5 that I went through that. Like, so here's another story. Just taking you down, I've got the gate 56. Okay. I've got the gate of storytelling. So buckle in. My best friend and I wrote letters to each other 10 years ago. So in 2014. And we opened them up not too long ago, like last week. And she lives in Newfoundland now. So I called her and we read them to each other. And it's so funny. So she's a 1-3 manifester and I'm a 3-5 generator. And so those are both right angle crosses. And, we have the personal destiny theme. And it's so funny in the letters, we wrote these letters to each other and just the things that we said, I could just tell that we were on our own journey. Like I even said, like the people that we're with now or the people that we're in a relationship with, we are definitely not ending up with them. Like there is more to this life than this. And we just gave off this theme of like, there's more to life. We're going to go explore some more and we're going to see where we end up. And it was very much like not attached to anything and anyone. And also growing up, I would say like my first relationship in high school, it was like 3 years, almost 4 years long. So like it was like, your first significant, I guess, relationship. And I just remember getting into university and just knowing like, okay, no, this isn't gonna work. I have my own path to walk and this person is not supportive or this person's not following me for sure. Like they've got to go figure out their own stuff. And I just remember coming to that clarity. And as much as like, ending a relationship, the thought of it was, hard, but doing it, it sounds bad. I'm like, no, I've got things to do and I've got places to go and things to achieve. And I just don't want to be like bogged down by somebody who isn't going to grow with me. And that was just something that I did. And people would always say, like, how do you just do that? And I am a third line as well. And like the whole bond's made to be broken. When things are done, it's done. But also like I have always felt that I am on this inward journey. And it's true that I learn about myself through other people. It's not with other people, but it's through other people, I guess. Like I do a lot of self-reflection and like if you see patterns in other people, you kind of think like, oh, do I do some of that? And just very, very self-reflective about what I'm doing. And yeah, that's like my experience with having a right angle cross. We are going to get into the 6 combinations now. So we're going to start with 1-3s. I put the famous person here as Kanye West. So to me, you can bet that these people are your go-to experts when they've really honed this in their work and their craft. And let me tell you why. 1-3s need information and love to deep dive, or 1s need information for foundation and security, and they love to deep dive on topics. To me, these are the people who, like in a professional setting, when you have to do professional development and continue your education and things like that, that they're probably on top of it no matter what. When they have found their field or their calling, they want to learn more. They want to be the best they can be in terms of keeping up to date with information. And why I think that they make great experts is because that as a 3 line, when they've really embodied this, that they are out there trying out the information, experimenting with the information to find what actually works or not. So the thing here with the 1-3s is that with the 3 being unconscious, sometimes it's hard to step into that role and it can trip them up a bit because they can really internalize this whole going out there and experimenting with this information instead of just consuming more information, right? So the question is, have you honed in on what you actually like deep diving about? Do you know what's for fun and what it is you're here to give the people you serve? right? There's some, fun deep dives you can totally go and do. But what is it that you are passionate about? What is it that you have followed your strategy and authority about? And do you have the confidence to be able to go out there and experiment with the information at this point? So remember, right? Like it's nice to have that safety and that secure foundation. But the 3 lines still needs to be put into action. And that's why they are the best experts, because they've likely used it. So a reason why you may be stuck as a 1-3 is because you are trying to do something new every time. You are going over a new deep dive. You are trying to reinvent the wheel, and you just don't really trust your ability to bounce back and experiment and go out there in the real world. And so I just want you to know with that 3 line, you have a lot of resilience. And though you may not feel it, when you get out there, you're going to get back up. So what I would say is share what you've learned through your knowledge and experience. Okay, the next one is 1-4s. So I wrote the famous person here is Albert Einstein. So same thing here with the knowledge, with the 1 line being conscious. You are stuck. Are you stuck trying something new all the time? Are you relying so much on knowledge and your deep dives? Because that can get you stuck. The more you know, the more you realize how much you don't know, and you just keep going for more information. Now, with the 4 line, you are here to influence your network and community. You take that information you're passionate about, your knowledge, and you bring it to your people because you are like the person who has the best resources for people. People want to hear what you're passionate about, especially the right people. So the right network here is key. You can try and fit in as a 4 line and kind of get caught up with trying to be accepted by people. But the people you are here for, once you've really mastered this 1 line-ness of knowing what you're here to share, is finding your people so you can thrive, so that opportunities can flow through for you. And so the question is, do you have a place to share your knowledge and insight? And can you start creating that little place that you can start sharing that? All right, 2-4s. I wrote here the famous person is Oprah. So the 2-4 is funny because they want to be an introvert. They have that pull to be more of like a lone hermit, right? The 2 line is the hermit. But they also have that feeling like they want to be around other people too and connect with other people. So I say honor both cycles and what feels right. Hone your craft, your skill, do whatever it is you're working on regardless, because as a 2 line, you'll get called out. And this is where your network comes into play, right? So as a 2 line, you're by yourself, you're honing your skills, you're refining your skills and talents, and you're keeping to yourself. And then your network and the people that you go and interact with are going to benefit from what it is that you do. So you can create opportunities for your network, and you can also get opportunities in your network. So that is important to have. And remember, you are someone who is naturally talented, but there can be some self-doubt here as a line 2 as well, because you have a hard time seeing yourself and your talents. So what people say that you're really good at something, just take it, just say thank you. Because there's a lot of times the line 2s will not see that, or they don't believe it. So the cool thing about this profile line here is these are people who can live quiet lives, but also impact a lot of people. I think that being online, connecting with communities I was just talking to a 2-4, and I think that being online really helps. You can be in the comfort of your own home, but you can also create this community on one of the platforms and find your people and kind of create that impact through the online world. So that's actually a really cool way that a 2-4 can use their energy. And I will say right now that it's not to say that any of these profile lines can't do what the other profile lines are doing. This is all just how to use your human design in a way that speaks to you and the unique challenges that you may struggle with. So, like I said, it's more so how you do things that you experiment with. that show you what you have energy for. You know, you can take whatever information and play around with it in your life and see how that works, and see how that is sustainable for your own energy. Okay. 2 5s. So I wrote here the famous people Mark Twain and Coco Chanel. So same thing here, wanting to hide out, but also because you have the 5 line, which is you're in the projection field 2 times with the 2 line and the 5 line, you may have a hard time putting yourself out there. That balance between being alone and just working on whatever it is on your own and having the courage to put yourself out there with the solutions, with the practical solutions that you provide to people as a 5 line can be difficult. And I feel like that can keep people stuck for a long time because, yeah, the fear of being seen is very real. So sometimes you do need enough time to hermit before you put yourself out there to help people at the end of the day. You want to be clear about who you can help. I know I say that about 5 lines all the time. You know, you want to be sure that what projection you are acting on, you know, when you get called out as a 2 line, you know who you're here to help. You know that what you do can help them. So yeah, like there's sometimes it's like you do need more time. You have practical solutions for others. People are going to see your gifts and your power when you really step into it. And the people that put you in a negative projection, positive projection, that's just part of the process. So it's having, like I said, enough courage to put yourself out there regardless of the projections. And when you are in a, good projection and you can actually help people, that is your time to shine. So find your people. They will really benefit from what you have to share and say. Remember, you're here to impact more strangers, right? You might be afraid to be burned at the stake. Those are real fears. So for sure, you just want to be able to build up your resilience and your courage to help. When you know, like I said, when you know who you're here to help, you know what you're here to give to your people, that's when you can really move forward. All right, 3 5s. I wrote Eckhart Tolle and Mother Teresa. The 3rd line is called The Martyr, and they are getting their hands dirty trying because they discover things through the doing and trying and experimenting. Remember here that there are no failures, just learning and bringing you to your next thing. So as a 3 line, when things don't work out, that's okay. The wisdom you gain is invaluable. So there's so much resilience here as a 3rd line. You will get back up because that's how you play the game of life. It's the emotions that can get you stuck, I think. The lack of forgiveness for yourself, the shame, the guilt. That stuff is not so fun. And I think that can really dampen your resilience. So that's always something worth looking at, your relationship with yourself, with forgiveness, self-forgiveness, shame. And so, yeah, you're here to share your practical solutions and universalize your knowledge to strangers as a 5 line. So as a 5th line, it's important that you own that leader quality that you have within you. I think sometimes as a 3rd line, it can be like me, like little old me being this leader and sharing my practical solutions and my knowledge in a way. It's like it's hard to do that when you still see yourself as like this person who has made so many mistakes and failures. And so I think that's why it's really important to get through that whole self going inwards and that self-forgiveness and looking at the shame and the guilt that you may have experienced through your process and experimenting, because from personal experience, owning that leadership quality as a 5 line is hard when you haven't let those things go, because you'll never see yourself, right? It's hard to see yourself. Other people see you for who they want you to be. And yeah, it's really difficult. So do that inner work for sure. Okay. So as a 3 6, I feel like they're all powerful, but this is a super powerful combination in my opinion, because living your life and experimenting on the ground level, yet having that wide view of life through the 6 line, the role model, like really cool. So 6 lines go through 3 phases. So the first 30 years or so, it's the double 3rd line. You're bumping into life. Life is bumping into you. You're finding relationships. You're breaking them off, right? The second phase, you're on the roof, getting a better view and understanding of things, which is nice because the trial and error process is still there, but the ability to process it through the lens of your sixth line helps a little bit. That's like the great part about it. And then the third phase, 50 or so and on, you are embodying this role model energy and you still have the ability to keep experimenting. So imagine the wisdom this person carries through experience, through continuing to experience and embodying that wisdom, right? Six lines are here just to be themselves. They go through their journey of showing the world what it means to be and live authentically. They've got high integrity, like they hold themselves to a high standard and they continue to work through that with their sixth line. So the thing here as a third line is like you are on your own journey, right? Yet the sixth line wants to find a soulmate. So there could be a little bit of a tension there, right? And the drive for authenticity, like I said, with the sixth line will always be there, but allow the third line to find it and get in there to find it. That is how that energy will work best. So those are the 6 personal destiny theme profile lines. That's the breakdown of them. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. I will do the other 6. So there's one fixed fate profile line, and then the other 5 are more transpersonal, is a transpersonal theme, and that's cleaning up the karma that's been created. And those profile lines are more impacted by their relationships. So we'll get into that next. And that's it for today's episode. Please share it with anyone else who wants to learn more about human design or anyone who may be on their personal growth and spiritual development journey. You can DM me on Instagram to talk about what resonated with you, what you learned about yourself. I love hearing about human design in real life, so I really appreciate those conversations. And if you would like, you can leave a comment, a review, a rating, and subscribe to the podcast. That support means the world. Thank you so much for listening. I know time is a valuable currency. Take care.